Hey there everybody, Dr. Mouth here. Hope you're having a good day today. Unfortunately, it's somewhat sad circumstances we find ourselves in today. The passing of another rock legend, not someone that everybody knows. You know, he's not one of those big stars like a Prince or a David Bowie or a Lemmy, but you know what? We don't hear enough about those people when they pass away, because a lot of times those are the people that helped the ones with the vision, like the Bowies, the Princes, help them get the job done. And this is one of those guys. His name was Jim Rodford, and he played for the Zombies. He played for the Kinks. He was also in Argent. He was an excellent bass player, and he just passed away. Unfortunately, after an accident in his home, he tripped and fell. He was 75 years old. He had been playing right up until his death. He had just finished a short tour with the Zombies. Ever since the Zombies reformed in the 2000s, and were going out and touring and playing live quite a bit, including that awesome tour last year where they did all of Odyssey and Oracle in its entirety. Pretty awesome. Jim Rodford was their bass player ever since they came back in the 2000s. Always did a great job, knew all the tunes inside out, had been friends with the band since the 60s. In fact, he is involved, and I don't understand this exactly, but he's involved in the forming of the original band, even though he wasn't actually in the band. Good friends, though, with Rod Argent and Colin Bluestone and all those guys that were actually in the Zombies. So he had a long history with them, so it was great that he kind of went back and played with them in the 2000s. But a really, really talented bass player, and someone that we should talk about a little bit, because he was so talented and played with great groups. You know, he was with the Kinks during one of their best periods. You know, the Kinks have all these crazy periods, right, where they're kind of like snotty punks when they start, and then they're like mod dandies after that, and then there's that whole period where every album to Ray Davies had to be a concept album. You know, Schoolboys in Disgrace, a soap opera, Preservation Act, they Muswell Hillbillies, Arthur, like the list goes on and on. He was really into the concept records. And while that was going on, they were also banned in America. They had been banned for a long time at the end of the 60s over something quite trivial, as I am led to believe. And they couldn't play in the U.S. for a long time. So finally, in the late 70s, and I think Ray Davies, watching punk rock and stuff go off all around him, he took the band back to its rock and roll roots. And that's when Jim Rodford came on board. And he helped them so much in giving them a great, solid bass sound. Really talented guy. Fun guy, obviously. You know, I saw the Kinks in the mid-90s, right before they broke up, actually, for good. And at that point, Ray Davies, Dave Davies, the two brothers, not really liking each other at all. They're on opposite ends of the stage. But there's good old Jim Rodford. He's up there. He's having a great time. He's smiling. You can tell he's having fun. And same when you see him in the Zombies. You can tell he's having a great time up there. But he came in there in 1979. This is the first Kinks album that he's on right here, Low Budget. And this is the one that kind of brought them back to the mainstream with that tune, Low Budget, which was a bit of an FM hit, as well as Wish I Could Fly Like Superman, although the album version is not as good. They were trying to have a disco hit with that song, and it's not good. It doesn't work. But when they play it live, it sounds sensational. So this was the first one that he played on. Then, of course, he's on this one, which was also a pretty popular album in the late 70s. You know, Ray Davies always give the people what they want, and this one had some great classics on it, like Destroyer, which was a huge hit in North America. See, because they hadn't been able to tour all through the 70s, when they did finally get to tour and they were putting out these great rock records, they did really well, and people really wanted to see them. This album is classic. This has Yo-Yo, this has Art Lover, some really, really amazing songs on this record. And then came the live album I mentioned earlier there. He's Jim's bass playing on this, fantastic. And like I said, if you don't like the version of Wish I Could Fly Like Superman that's on Low Budget, check out the version on this one, man. I'm telling you, it's absolutely fantastic. I love this. Just a side note, too. Show you the cover inside here real quickly. I love this shot here. It's just a blurred shot of the band just wailing. The action is too fast. We can't even contain it. And Jim also played on this one, too, State of Confusion, which has, you know, this one of the biggest Kinks hits of all time is on this record when Ray Davies wrote Come Dancing. It was, I believe it was only the second Kinks tune in North America to get into the top 10 after, you know, the first one was way back in the 60s, which I think was Tired of Waiting for You or All Day and All of the Night, one of those songs. Come Dancing was a huge hit off this record, and Jim played on this one as well. You can see him running on the front cover. That's him. That's him right there. And if you look at the picture on the back cover here, That's him right there beside Dave Davies. So a very instrumental part, and he stayed with the Kinks right until they broke up in the mid to late 90s. And then after that, it was only a few years, and then he was in with the Zombies. Now, one other thing, though, that I love about him, he was also in Ron Argent's band that he had after the Zombies with Chris White called Argent. And they were pretty neat, hard rock, kind of on the progressive side sometimes. And on these albums, you didn't, when Jim Rodford passed, you heard a lot about the Kinks and the Zombies, but you didn't hear them talk about Argent much. And really, this is where he gets to show off his bass playing. His bass playing on some of these records is great. Ones like this one, this is called, this one you got to kind of hold it in a weird way. It folds out like this, cover-wise. But anyways, I'm sure you all got an epileptic fit after that flash of craziness there. He's on this record here, Argent, Ring of Hands, which, like I said, kind of folds out sideways. That's what it looks like sideways. But this was really good, great heavy stuff. This is him on the front cover right here, playing chess. But some really great stuff. And if you really want to hear his bass playing tested and some really wicked playing, this Argent album you should check out. It's called Nexus. It's really, really awesome. Very heavy, but very progressive. Lots of cool Ron Argent keyboard work. But Jim Rodford also gets to play some really wicked bass playing. And you know it's prog rock with titles like this, like The Coming of Karahoto, The Coming of Karahoto, Infinite Wanderer, Music from the Spheres. That's a dead giveaway right there that it's prog rock. And of course we have Man for All Reasons. So there you go. It's great stuff, though. And this really shows what a great bass player that Jim Rodford is. Because, Argent, they're known for Hold Your Head Up and God Gave Us Rock and Roll, which are just kind of basic rock and roll songs. Whereas the stuff on this record, this is really pretty neat and cool. I don't know if you can hear it. I got it playing in the background right now. So I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Mr. Jim Rodford. You were a great, like a journeyman rock and roll guy. He was in those bands. He helped those bands so much. Never in the front, never in the limelight. But, man, should always be remembered for great contributions he made to every single band that he was in. And I just wanted to remember that. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here, Dr. Mouth. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram. It's Dr. Mouth. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And I'll be back with more crazy albums that have slipped through the cracks before you know it. So I thank you for watching.